This is your daily market recap for Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Let's go.
This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is my stock, Bitcoin, gold, and silver daily market recaps. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you.
This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market recap for Tuesday, January 18th, 2022 on stocks, Bitcoin, gold, silver. Let's get into it. I hate to ask for this, but people say, you need to get your viewership up by asking for likes and subscribes. I'd appreciate it. If you like what you see here, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. And if you don't like it, give it a thumbs down and tell me why. I appreciate it. And again, let's start into this. The Discord room, if you have ever any questions, there's tons of us in here. There's tons of education in here, educational videos. The daily market recaps are all in here. Even if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, I don't care. If you want some help, there's tons of stuff in here. Again, volume price analysis, education, all sorts of goodies for trading. So let's get into Bitcoin. This is where we always start. Again, big cup and handle looking, this green zone. It seems to be holding it for now. Just keep an eye on it. Like, we talked about, and you'll see it on the hourly. We talked about the entries here. Oh, it just automatically changed to the daily. Apologize. You can see on the hourly, pointed out this buy signal, volume, taking out the lows. Again, when you take out the lows and then you rally back with strong volume, that's usually a bottom. I mean, 9 out of 10 times. And you notice what happens. We made higher. I mean, we went up almost $5,000 a coin. Now we're chopping, and the action could always retest. Of course, I always tell people that's why it's really hard to chase action unless you get volume and the price action confirms it. As of right now, that's a nice bottom, but nothing confirming off that. And let's see what happens here. I mean, again, I think if you're buying anywhere in the 40,000 range, if Bitcoin's going to hold up, it's going to hold up. It looks fine. Let's jump into the markets. TLT. Now, this is something that, I harp on all the time in our daily market recaps. What do I say? As long as the, interest rates aren't doing anything crazy, the market seems pretty comfortable. Well, the market interest rates have started to get a little wild and they've gone higher, and now the market's getting a little nervous. But let's just keep in mind overall where we've come from, where we're at. I don't think there's a ton to be super nervous about at this moment. I know that seems very, I don't know, people might say, oh, you're being a little Pollyanna about this. Don't you think it's a bigger deal with the interest rates? You broke this range. Yes, I agree. This short term looks like very bearish. However, I will say the 141, 142 level, we talked about this. It broke it today with a gap, and we closed at the lows, but the volume wasn't that great. That makes me nervous for the bulls because, when you can get that kind of action, or for the bears, when you get that kind of action, it kind of feels like this. It's more just exhaustive. And ultimately what I think is going to happen potentially is it's going to chop out. And I think we might be closer to the bottom than you think. Keep in mind everything that's going on. The market price is in action, and you buy the rumor, sell the news. Well, now everyone's freaking about rates. Is that the news? We'll see. The dollar, we talked about the bottom here on the 100-day potentially, and it clearly held. We popped back up into the zone. Dollar popped. I'd watch the 20 and the 50-day. I doubt it gets over it. It's just that simple. The VIX, talked about this 23 level. We got up there. Nice little gap over the resistance range, which is good for the bulls. But again, I would be looking to short the UTHR. I think it doesn't even matter what the price. The technicals of this are just always short this piece of crap based on what the VIX action is saying. I would say at this point, you can short the UVXY and just watch this area. If we can't get over that, then we're fine. I mean, we're at a high end of range, high end of range risk. I don't know what the big risk is going into earnings season. Typically, earnings are up. Seasonally, the market is up in the first couple weeks of the year. I think this is just a chop out. Let's get in the markets because this is ultimately what you need to see. People today were, freaking out. And it's just filling the gap, testing our zones. I'm not super anxious about it. I mean, I do see a lower low here, but let's watch what happens. Again, one day doesn't make a trend. Just like up here one day, it looked like a breakout and it didn't. keep that in mind. We could be down here for a while, watch the action. Again, I'm not really bearish short term or near term. I'm waiting for the seasonality to line up, and if I miss something, it happens. But when the seasonality lines up, it's way easier to short stuff with conviction. The cues, really obvious. Just watch the 200-day, watch these areas. We said, you know, ultimately we might retest 370, but that's not that ultimately a big of a deal. However, I will say, just watch the areas. Ultimately, I think we could get to the 200-day. Keep in mind, the NASDAQ is definitely lagging the SPYs, as we were talking about higher highs up on in December on the NASDAQ and the Qs, whatever, NASDAQ 100. Not so much here. Lower highs, lower lows. I would not be surprised if we got down there, and if we did get down there, I think you would get a bounce. It's really that simple. GLD. Again, it looked like it was about to break out, and it's just chopping here. It's very frustrating. I know everyone's like, oh, gold medal got to go. And it's like, man, this is a big mofo cup and handle. We're compressing under the handle line. I'd like to see the volume increase. I think it will ultimately, and we'll break out. It's just timing. Timing, my friend. It is OPEX. You've got a lot of things going on. Keep it simple. This one I did, there's a whole video I'm going to release after I release this video. Silver, I like it. Today's action took out recent highs in the mid-20s ones. And then boom. If you saw the futures charts, we talked about this in the other video. It'll be attached into this video. See very clearly, like $21 an ounce in silver has been real important. And we're holding it. And now somebody bought a whale ton of silver today, and ultimately what happened, it closed up near the highs. I mean, considering the market was getting smoked, and look at that action. It's not great in the doji formation, but ultimately it did rise on volume. GDX, little disappointing. I mean, this looks like a head and shoulders within a head and shoulders. I mean, it's just so choppy, and ultimately I always tell people, watch the range and the zones. You are in the original IPO zone from back in 2006, man, forever ago. Actually, we're below it right now at these prices in the 30 range. I think we're going to hold here. This is a pennant, long-term, monthly. Again, when does it go? I don't know, but when it does, it's going to go. It's going to be big. It's just that simple. GDXJ. 40 area. Again, watch it. You can see it's important. It's really that simple. Keep it simple. I like the miners and the metals on pullback. I mean, I just have this sneaky intuition what's going to happen here. AG back at the trend, or at the support zone here in the mid 10s. Keep it simple. Watch it. Might be ready to go. KL, again, every time it gets under 40, it doesn't last long. Let's see what happens. Pop. Is this going to be a higher low? I mean, the volumes are dirt. I mean, that's something you should pay attention to with the miners. Whoever's selling them, I mean, there's not much sellers left. I mean, if you haven't sold your miners and you're going to sell them, who's left to sell? Zoom out on the monthlies. I mean, it's unreal how long these things have been consolidating. So just a matter of time. Keep it simple. X talked about needing to break out. We didn't. However, also did something talked about on Twitter. I mean, I like this congestion area with all the moving averages. The 24 area, it should hold. And if it does, it should be going higher. Let's look at VALE, because this thing just continues to outperform. I mean, literally outperform. I mean, doji today, and it was up 13 cents. I know I keep telling people it's going higher long term. Might not get there in a straight line. Do I like the doji action? It would depend if the markets were strong and you got that. But on a day like today, just being up in itself is saying something. So we'll keep that in mind. Just keep watching it. Let's talk about the laggards. Now, again, I did a video on AMD, and I said, please don't buy it until it breaks the trend line. Here's your trend line. We did not break it today, so just leave it alone. It's just that simple. Ultimately, it could go much lower. If this head and shoulder formation does break the 100-day, you did hit the upper channel line. There's really nothing much to say other than just wait. Be patient. I know it's hard to do, but you got to do it. You know, being patient, an example of that and winning was Apple. When we talked about this weeks ago, and we said, you know what, when Apple breaks the downtrend with volume, you buy it. Boom, volume, and it went. Like, that's what you're waiting for. And right now, Apple's just chilling. I mean, this box and the 50-day are lining up. It seems very obvious that if they hit there, there's going to be buying there. Just keep it that simple. MicroStrategy, man, this thing is a beast. Just going nuts down here at the lows. I mean, I would watch this, as I've said in previous videos, watch the 450 area. Once it failed here, it wasn't going higher, and now you're down here. I mean, it just seems very obvious right now that it's waiting for Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin goes, this will go. I mean, you can probably buy it and chase it a little bit as long as Bitcoin is confirming higher highs or higher lows. It's just that simple. Roadblocks, we've said this a million times, or we talked about this, the alert here that would hit here and it bounced 10 points. Well, now you're back in the bottom of it. And what did I say? Previous videos, I like it in this red box, and I also would not be surprised if what test. Backside of the old trend line. Now that's pretty normal for stocks at time when they break out to retest old trend lines. Let me clean up these charts. These old ones are no good anymore because they're been broken and they're just way below the price action. Maybe if it gets that low, we'll redraw them. But watch the area, said the 70s. Well, I like it. I mean, somehow you get to 75. I think I said on Thursday in the daily market recap during OPEX, if it got down to 75, I would not be surprised. Be aware, Microsoft buying Activision. Ultimately, someone's going to buy Roblox. And if Roblox isn't bought, I will be surprised, but I would not be surprised if they still succeed either way. That's my thought on that. We'll see what happens. I could be wrong. Just remember, everyone can be wrong. RIVN, man, we liked it when it bounced, and when it failed the 20-day, it's been a goober, and now it's trending down, making lower lows. I mean, closed below the lows from the 6th. Yeah, just keep an eye on it. I mean, all electric cars are getting smoked here. Tesla, I mean, I've told people to stay away. This is the head and shoulders top. Here's the shoulder line. Here's the head. Just watch what happens. I mean, again, I think this is now when you let the time play out, you can really draw and identify things. Now you have a trend line, you know what I mean? You have a downtrend. You can consider that a downtrend. So if you want to be the bull on it, let it break it. And ultimately, I don't know where Tesla's going long term. I think it needs to consolidate for the health of its own stock. It's normal after big run-ups. It consolidates, you go up, consolidate. We're in the consolidation phase at worst. So just keep that in mind. You're not going to get, I think, the big boomer moves that everybody keeps talking about in Tesla unless something happens. I just don't see it. And I don't want to be a bearer of bad news. I'm just trying to be the reality of the market, and that what you think is going to happen ultimately doesn't necessarily happen. Where is that sucker? God, this mouse is driving me nuts. I have another mouse coming. We'll see. UTHR. Man, I've said this a million times. It needs to close over this range. We get up in it today and close at the lows. I don't like it with bigger volume. At worst, it needs to consolidate. But man, this is a tricky stock. I mean, light volume, it only trades 734,000 shares. Can be manipulated. Just keep that in mind. That's what low float stocks can do. Let's move this back up into this range. Penner said need to get over the 20-day, and it just couldn't. I mean, I've left it alone. I stopped out. I'm watching other things. Did it make a new low today? I think it did. I apologize that I don't have this up. Yep, it made a new low. Just watch the action again. At some point, the market makers are stuck with a lot of volume. You can see this area. I mean, at some point, they gotta short squeeze this to unlock and buy, sell inventory so that they can then push it the next direction. I would keep an eye on it. EXPI, where are you, my friend? Yep. I like this. I know it's being tricky. If you look out and zoom out on the monthly, you can see it a little better. Why? You're at the monthly trend line. Keep in mind that seasonality of real estate stocks, they tend to do well. But of course, think about what's going to happen with that EXPI and Zillow. I did a review on them. If interest rates are going higher, it's going to spook the market short term. But keep in mind, like, people need places to buy. They need to move. They got to transfer. They got to move in the spring. That's when they're going to do it, if they're going to do a yearly move. It's really that simple. There is a seasonality to that move. It is what it is. XOP, talked about this one when it broke the downtrend, back tested, and then went with volume. You're back at the highs. Are you surprised? I mean, honestly, I always tell you, like, are you surprised when you retest highs that somebody might start taking some profits? No. Let's see what happens. High and tight's fine. High and tight is fine on XOP. ExxonMobil. Now this is a trade again. You break a downtrend, you close over it with volume, and you go. I like that. As of right now, keep an eye on it. It is at the monthly trend line. Let's draw this on all of these Apply to all my XOM charts. That's why I love it. You can apply lines to all sorts of charts, and boom, there it is. E-signal. It is the shit, but it is not cheap. If you're gonna trade, free charts are free. They're a reason. This is an interesting area. Just keep in mind, ExxonMobil's been on a monster run, 57 to 74 for this stock. That's a big move, especially this big behemoth of a dinosaur stock. So again, if you like what you see, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, stop by the Discord room. I appreciate everybody's support and love, and I will see you shortly.
Thanks for watching. For more trading knowledge and insight, click on the videos on the right, and also join the Discord room. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions, please stop on by the Discord room and let's chat. Thank you.